Hey, welcome into the Snap. Today we're talking about rookie wide receivers going into 2022. Should you draft them? What's their potential value? And can we trust them? We're going to break that all down today. We got a ton of data to get into. I'll preface this first. If you want to go ahead and take a deeper look for yourself, analyze the data, join our Discord. The link is in the episode description. I'm going to link it there for you. It's absolutely free to join. We've got about 120 plus members that you can, interact with, or you can just pop in and grab the data and pop out. All good either way, but I thought I would just tell you that before we got into it. So, what is the study all about? We basically looked at the last 10 years and every single wide receiver drafted in the first 4 rounds, and then went on to calculate their fantasy output as rookies and again as sophomores, and tried to figure out, is there any historical trend between their finishes as rookies and as sophomores? And what we found was actually fairly interesting. Out of the 176 players that we profiled, only 4 of them returned wide receiver 1 value, top 12 value as rookies, and 2 of them, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, the last 2 years. Look, we've been spoiled. And that's sort of where this whole kind of study derives from. Are rookie wide receivers being overdrafted because of Jefferson and Chase the last 2 years? Other than them, we're looking at Michael Thomas in 2016 and Odell Beckham Jr. in 2013. Mike Evans really, really close in his rookie season, finished as wide receiver 13. So close, but no cigar. If we look at rookie wide receivers, what were the chances that they finished as top 36 players? A wide receiver 3 or better? We're only looking at 27 out of 176. That's 15%. So only about 15% of rookie wide receivers are returning that top 36 value. If we look at this class, from the Drake Londons all the way down to the, Jalen Tolberts and Alec Pierces, basically one of those guys is going to hit as a top 36 option, and the others are not. and that's just honestly the matter of the fact. That is the truth in the data. And there might be some recency bias with, last year we had 4 guys in the top 36. We had Jamar Chase, we had Jalen Waddle, we had Devontae Smith, we had Amon-Ra St. Brown. And if Kadarius Toney, Rashad Bateman, and Elijah Moore could have stayed healthy, their per game numbers actually suggest they could have been very, very close. We have a really, really good 2014 class. We had a really good 2020, a good 2021. There might be a little bit of recency bias, but for the most part, it is a low percentage chance that these guys actually finish as top 36 options as rookies. However, what happened in their sophomore seasons? Well, as sophomores, we went from 50% up to 27%. And I think that's a very natural progression. Makes sense. They are earning the trust of their coaches. They're earning larger workloads. They're building chemistry with their quarterbacks. They're becoming acclimated to the NFL game from the college game. It makes sense that in their second year, they would earn more opportunity. Where I think we see the biggest jump, if rookie wide receivers were top 36 players in their rookie season, they went on to repeat or improve upon that 72% of the time as a sophomore. So when we look back this year, I'll bring those names up again. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those guys all have really, really good chances of improving upon or repeating on last year. 3 out of the 4 historically by the data are going to do so. So that's really encouraging. We know Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle are, sky high in terms of ADP. Amon-Ra is actually up there because of his magical run, but a guy like Devontae Smith is actually pretty affordable. We're going to sort of dive in here to give you something that you can leave with today and put into action in your draft so that you don't walk away with too many rookies. You walk away with maybe 1, and then you have some pivot plays on really solid sophomores and even third-year players that will actually give you more return on your investment. So that leads me to this. Drake London, the highest rookie wide receiver, coming in at 79.5 average draft position in a half PPR league. If you love Drake London, cool, pull the trigger. Guys I like at the same position that I think have a really good chance to provide more value than a guy like Drake London: Darnell Mooney at 73.9, Rashad Bateman at 79, and Gabe Davis at 81.5. Now, I will be completely transparent with you. I'm not the biggest Gabriel Davis fan, and I would pick Rashad Bateman over him. The reason I say that is because even though the Buffalo Bills offense projects to be far superior and have more volume than the Baltimore Ravens offense, I think the competition for targets for Bateman is just far less than it will be for Gabriel Davis. You know, Gabriel Davis has to overcome Stephon Diggs. He has to overcome Dawson Knox in the red zone, and he's got to overcome James Cook, who they brought in to be that pass-catching back. Don't forget they lost it on J.D. McKissick in free agency. So I like Rashad Bateman, Darnell Mooney for sort of the same reason, but Gabe Davis, I think those are all nice pivot plays to a guy like Drake London. Treylon Burks is the next guy at 89 average draft position. Devontae Smith is a name I brought up. 83.7, going about 6 picks earlier. I would draft Devontae Smith over Treylon Burks. There's some concerns for me with Treylon Burks as a prospect. I think he's a little bit raw. I think he's got huge shoes to fill. Again, in a low volume passing offense, they like to run the football. He's also got Robert Woods to compete with. I don't necessarily think Treylon Burks is the guy to draft this year at his current cost. I would pivot with Devontae Smith, or at equal cost, Elijah Moore, going as ADP 89 right now. Going over the two Ohio State prospects in Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, I actually like Garrett Wilson's current cost of 97.4 ADP. But if you want to pivot in these two scenarios, Brandon Ayuk and Allen Lazard, I think, are both two really good options. Ayuk getting a lot of buzz at camp, developing a nice relationship with Trey Lance, showing some chemistry there. Allen Lazard projects to be the number one for the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Christian Watson had a knee procedure. He's not been practicing. He might not even be ready to go week 1. All signs point to Allen Lazard, and at ADP cost of 105, I think he's a really nice play. The last pivot play for you, take Kadarius Toney at 115 over Skyy Moore at 113.8. They're virtually going back-to-back in your drafts. Kadarius Toney, if you followed this podcast for a while, or if this is the first time, look, I'm not a Kadarius Toney fan. I've called him as a bust from the beginning. But look, Kadarius Toney, I have seen take over an NFL game. I've seen him go 10 for 189 and dominate. I haven't seen anything from Skyy Moore other than he dominated the combine, but we've seen lots of players dominate the combine and it not translate to the NFL field. I think if we draft Skyy Moore over a guy like Kadarius Toney, we are neglecting to learn any lesson from Clyde Edwards-Helaire being drafted to the Chiefs. We see this glorious opportunity to be a partner to Patrick Mahomes and reap all the fantasy benefits, and it just didn't work out that way. We drafted Clyde over guys like DeAndre Swift and Jonathan Taylor when we should not have. So let's take a lesson and let's learn and let's draft Kadarius Toney instead of Skyy Moore. I'm not saying don't draft rookies. I'm saying don't have too much exposure to rookies, because the sad fact is the majority of them do not return top 36 value. And if you have to take a guy like Drake London in the 7th round, the bust really hurts you a lot more than the bust of, let's say 3 guys that I like: Jahan Dotson at 140, George Pickens at 147.5, and Jalen Tolbert at 173. At that cost, it doesn't matter. Run to the waivers, grab somebody else. At 79.5, at 88, it hurts a little bit more because you're drafting these guys to be your wide receiver 3s and 4s, and to take an L there really doesn't help. So going into your drafts, draft 1 rookie. Don't draft a bundle. Go to 2nd and 3rd year players. I promise you'll get far more value out of those players. If you have any questions for us, any comments, leave them down below. We reply to every single comment. Good luck in your drafts, and we'll see you soon.